The governor should resign. People are dead. Homes have burned. It is not your first rodeo. It is not. And when you know that you have a state that is prone to fire, and I'm going to give it to you, you've got global warming. You have literally a tinderbox. Isn't this the part where you take the highest income tax, highest sales tax, highest gas tax, and rebuild the infrastructure? I'm sorry. And the reason for me this is super serious is because this guy wants to be your president. This now goes from a California problem to a countrywide problem. Like, I get it. He's got good hair. We've got much bigger problems, okay?
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise, and we have to talk about it. Elon Musk and X has been exposing California, specifically the governor, Gavin Newsom. Yes, I said it, Gavin Newsom. And it's just outrageous the amount of incompetence that has transpired. I won't say transpired, that has come out in reference to the state of California, their laws, their incompetence, their lack of readiness or preparation for a disaster that may not have been thwarted, but definitely could have been handled a lot better. I got a lot of clips to share with you guys. We're going to get into it. First video is Gavin Newsom discussing his zero tolerance for looting. Check this out.
How to keep people safe, no looting, zero tolerance for looting. That's why these guys are out here, and I'm very grateful for them, particularly for these critical checkpoints that allow law enforcement to move more mobilely and do the interior work.
This dude should be ashamed of himself, man. This is the same guy that basically decriminalized looting and barred the police from arresting looters and prosecutors from prosecuting them. They made the threshold, anything less than $900. It is truly the wild, wild west out in California. Now, the next video that we're going to check out, this is a video of, who is it? Gavin Newsom trying to explain to Biden and Kamala Harris about the mis and disinformation that's happening, but they're being fact-checked in real time. Check this out.
We've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart as people are suffering and struggling that we're up against those hurricane forces as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you, because it infects real people that are out there, people I meet every single day, people the mayor's been meeting with, and they're having conversations that are not the typical conversations you'd have at this time. And you wonder where this stuff comes from. And it's very damaging as well. But we're here to get the job done.
People are fed up, man. The people are fed up. As you've seen in the opening clip, Jillian Michaels, other entertainers, actors, other people that live in the city of LA, in the state of California, maybe they were former residents of California. They're tired of this administration. They're tired of Gavin Newsom. They're tired of Karen Bass. We're going to do a video. We got to do a video on Karen Bass. We got to discuss who she is. Oh my goodness, man. But this is ridiculous, man. He's being called out left and right and still refuses to take accountability for his poor choices and decisions. It's not misinformation or disinformation that you guys were not prepared for something that you've been told that could happen at least 2 years ago. Joe Rogan on his podcast discussed, there were some specialists that were talking about, hey, these fires, because the fires happen on an annual basis, but if they catch the right type of wind, it could really be bad. It could be a serious disaster. It would be a catastrophe, like none other. And this is what they're dealing with and what we're seeing right now. Let's check out Kari Lake here, who just absolutely dismantles Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom, the administration there out in California.
Of LA, many others are getting crucified for the lack of preparedness here. They've blown through millions on left-wing nonsense instead of investing into their own infrastructure, maybe tethering the fire hydrants to ocean water, which we've investigated. That's done in a lot of places because it's abundant. You can't run out. Yeah. Bringing in more water from the north. But here is, as all of this comes out, and these leaders are getting lambasted, and Gavin Newsom sees 2028 potentially disappearing before his very eyes. He's now yelling at Joe Biden that something has to be done to stop disinformation. Take a listen to this.
I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation. There were hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well.
Oh, boy.
Go right ahead.
I'm so tired of that term.
Yeah.
Whenever a politician screws up, in this day and age, they blame it on misinformation, disinformation. These are the facts. Thousands of people lost their homes, lost everything except the clothes on their back. Lives were lost. Neighborhoods have been wiped out. That's not misinformation. There's no water in the fire hydrants. And Gavin Newsom cares more about his hair gel than helping the people of his state. The mayor is in Africa on a junket. She's not in the city of Los Angeles. I don't care if you have a D or an R behind your name. You need to be run out of office for what happened in California. And the people happen to have Ds behind their name. Yeah. Frankly, they're Fs, they're failures. They failed the people. And I think this is a huge wake-up call for California. That leadership matters. The problem is voting these people out of office is going to be difficult. We know how they run their elections there with mail-in ballots coming out of everywhere. And it's really hard for the people of California. We need help in this country. It's going to come from President Trump and this great administration. Yeah. I know he cares about the people of California, the people of New York. You talked about some of the devastation on the streets of New York as well. We're going to actually save all of these wonderful, once wonderful cities and once wonderful states and bring this country together under great leadership, safety, and security.
Yeah. She's absolutely right, man. And I second everything that she said. I've said it over and over again, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. But let's check out Gavin Newsom. This right here, kind of funny, but also sad at the same time.
Honored Gavin Newsom here, and I'm honored to be with you, at least virtually, for the state of the port.
I knew.
If you haven't read this already,
that was my daughter's school, Governor.
California's economy is now the 4th largest in the world. Still a little dust to settle. So it makes so much sense. You know it better than anybody else. I'm literally talking to the president right now.
Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
We're trailblazers. You're trailblazers.
Trailblazing, all right.
And Governor Newsom went on to take aim at the president for his comments about California's wildfire prevention and suppression efforts.
I ask you, we've got to deal with this misinformation.
In reservoirs, the reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to...
If you win, you're going to take office in 2019, 2020, right around the corner. Can you say definitively you will not run for president? You know that.
You know he had his eyes on the White House for 28, but not with this debacle. And to be honest with you, we don't want this type of piss poor leadership in the White House. It's been bad enough over the past 4 years. It's been bad enough. And yes, California, 4th largest GDP in the world, really big state, a lot of money, obviously overtaxed and overregulated. And the person that's in charge of that state, you would think, in reality, you're almost on the same level as, some world leaders around the world. You're on the same level when you start thinking about the amount of responsibilities, people, constituents, the amount of tax money, tax revenue that comes in. You're on the same level. And it's just a piss poor example, of what a strong leader looks like. Dudes capitulated and bent the knee, to the woke environment's loonies. And, they've sacrificed homes, people's livelihoods, lives for a small fish and some lettuce. I mean, it's really, really crazy, man. It's really crazy. But let's check out what the, LA Times owner, Dr. Shun Shiyong, has to say about this situation. It's this situation out there is a mess. People are starting to wake up. But like Carrie Lake said, I don't know how you combat a situation where they do allow these mail-in ballots. You don't need an ID to vote. How do you combat and keep these people from, stealing and stealing and rigging? How do you do it?
Your team of reporters brought you this, that the reservoir was offline and empty. What was your response?
That it's so crazy that we have leaders that are reactive rather than proactive. I mean, it really emphasizes what I tweeted yesterday about issues of competence. And I think that's when we're really concerned. We don't elect people with great operational competence. There's really no surprise that we would have fires. In fact, we lived through a fire just a couple of years ago. So the idea that, for example, we don't create fire breaks, we actually reduce the budget. We actually don't inspect the hydrants. Apparently there's we'll be doing this investigation of a valve that actually could have increased the pressure, the absence of water in the reservoirs. Now you hear all these excuses, and I just heard this excuse about disinformation. I mean, I think that's outrageous when you have thousands of acres burning and 10 people are dead, so at least. So, yes, I think the policies were misplaced. We have to ask our questions, where are we spending the money and why? And what is the sort of planning and the logistics skill sets of actually preparing ahead for this?
Yeah, that situation's a mess, man. And it gets worse. Because come to find out, if you donate to these people, the Democratic Party is actually going to take a cut. You got to check out this daggone tweet from Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas herself. You guys got to see this, man. Now look at this. This right here, this one here is from Gavin Newsom. It says, just launched a new site to ensure the public has access to fact-based data around the Southern California wildfires. It's the truth. California did not cut our firefighting budget. We have nearly doubled the size of our fighting army and built the world's, and I don't even know what the rest of that says. And I can't find it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let me show some more. Oh, there's no more. But then it also says here that Governor Newsom did cut the fire budget by $100 million. These are rate proposed community notes. That's why they are frustrated with X and now Facebook coming in with these community notes, because they get called out, on their lives. The New York Post, this was as per the New York Post, that the community note there. The link on CaliforniaFireFacts.com, it takes you to a Democratic campaign platform, and it takes 3.95% of all transactions, and it goes to actblue.com. So, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is from Gavin Newsom. There's another one that is from Elizabeth Warren with a similar concept, where they're sending you to ActBlue, whatever dollar that you send, that's 4%. So if you send $10, if you send $10, they're going to take a little bit of that change. 40 cents, is gone. 4 cents on every dollar, essentially, gone to the Democratic Party. How much money do you think they're raising for this right now? How much money do you think they're raising for this? So they're basically, taking the money, not necessarily telling you, you got to read the fine print. And as you can see here, Senator of Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren. Also, they pushed this massive disaster fraud situation where they claim 100% of your donations, will go to the victims of the fires, in these fires out in California. But then if you actually go to the organization, like I said here, if you actually go there, it will tell you that hey, 4% of your money is gone. So it says here, to help support the communities around LA being devastated by wildfires, can you split a donation between LA Fire Department Foundation and the United Way, of Greater Los Angeles? 100% of your donation will go directly to these organizations. But if you read the community notes and you scroll down, you will find out that this is not a link to a charity. It's a link to a Democrat fundraising platform. They take 3.95% of all transactions. If you want to support these organizations, you should probably go to them directly. And as you can see here, LA County Fire Department Foundation and the United Way of Greater Los Angeles. These people are literally stealing your bread without telling you. This is fraud, man. This is a governor and a senator telling the American people, donate to us. 100% of the funds is going to the victims. And we find out that that is not the case. And people will say, oh, man, 4%, that's not that much. Well, why not just put it out there and say that, hey, by the way, 96% of the money is going to go to these folks. We're going to keep 4% for ourselves. These are some evil people, man. These are some evil people. And it sounds like the owner of the LA Times has some buyer remorse when it comes to Mayor Karen Bass. Check this out.
Well, we'll accept some blame, right? So at the LA Times, we endorse Karen Bass. I think right now in front, that's a mistake, and we admit that. So I thought it was very important early on for me to come out. And I think we were one of the few to say competence matters. We got like maybe 20, 23 million views to show how that was really dear to the heart of most people, whether you're right or left. And it's an interesting thing is that maybe we should think about how we elect people on the basis of, did they actually run a job? Did they actually make a payroll? Do they understand what it is? And rather than having professional politicians whose only job is really to run for office. There's nothing, I'm not trying to be disparaging, but I think we're at the stage now of the nation and the world, and there's many things we'll talk about even in healthcare, that you really need people to understand how it affects a man in the street, how it affects the working type of person. And I think President Trump in this election has understood that, and he's become truly a Republican Party, as you said, has become the Democratic Party in terms of addressing the problems of the man in the street.
And he's absolutely right there. We have entirely too many politicians that are career politicians. They hadn't done anything outside of running for office. If you can't operate a business, you've never actually worked a real job for real, but we're expecting you to run the nation in a effective and efficient way. I mean, it makes no sense. A lot of these people wouldn't be qualified, to run a McDonald's. No offense to McDonald's managers. They're actually more qualified than a lot of these politicians out here. Joe Biden literally has made hundreds of millions of dollars, never actually had a real job. Literally running for office. He's been in office. And he isn't the only one. I just point him out because he's the current president. But there's a plethora of people that have been in these offices that they've never actually had a real job. That's a lot of the problem I have with a lot of the educators, especially those, on the high school level, those, in college. It's a lot of theory, but not a lot of real world practice. If you guys recall, back in the day, there was a movie with Rodney Dangerfield. I love the movie. It's called Back to School. Rodney Dangerfield, I think he was a dropout. I don't know if college dropout, maybe high school dropout, but he didn't, and he decided, hey, I'm going to go to college. So he gets into college. There's a professor there in a business class, and they're trying to teach the kids, hey, this is how you run a business. Well, Rodney Dangerfield's sitting in the class. I cannot remember the name of his character in the movie, but he's sitting there saying, nah, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to talk to this person. You got to talk to this person. You got to grease this palm. You got to do this. This is the real way, real world ways of operating and running a business. You got to get all these, there's a lot of regulations you got to deal with. Permits you got to pull, all these types of things you want to build. You got a lot of people teaching people things that don't have real world application. You got a lot of people running office running offices, running, in different, congressional positions or, political positions that've never actually ran a business, never actually been in management, don't really know how to deal with people. And that's a lot of the issues that we have in the United States of America right now. There should be some qualifications. You shouldn't just be able to just run for office just because you want to and you got the right people to put the money behind you. That really shouldn't be the case. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section, man. I mean, I cannot believe that Elizabeth Warren and Gavin Newsom are essentially defrauding the people for money. And really and truly, this is a Democrat thing. They're not telling the people where the money is actually going. Oh, 100% of your donations are going here. But by the way, we're actually going to take 4% on the low. It's ridiculous, man. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you'd like to support the channel financially, consider buying your man a coffee. Link in the description box below. If you join and become a member, within there, you'll get access to the Slack channel. You'll get a chance to chop it up with me on a day-to-day basis. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel. Keep God first in your life. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.